Hey everyone, it's Chief Paul. We're going to roll out the new ESO hydrant module. So before we roll it out, we want to provide you with a little bit of training on the system. So very simple, go to ESO as you normally would and log into the computer. This can be done on the MDCs inside of all of the trucks. So you can actually be doing hydrant records while you're out on the road, conducting your hydrant inspections and flow tests. This does not need to be done back at the station. I do recommend that you utilize the MDC to track where you're at, as the hydrant system does not actually give you a live ping of where you are. So make sure you know where you're at on the MDC and what hydrant you're going to, and then switch over to your web browser, go to ESO, and log into the hydrant module. As you'll see right up here at the top, you will now have the hydrant module turned on. Click on that link, and it'll take you into the new hydrant module. When the hydrant module first comes up, it's going to come up in a map view that will show you where all of the hydrants are physically located in the county. So here we are inside the hydrant module. Once we get into the hydrant module, you notice that there's a map here that shows the physical locations of all the hydrants, as well as a list of the different hydrants listed alphabetically on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, this map, as it currently sits, only shows 120 hydrants at a time, and we have 3,521 hydrants within Alachua County Fire Rescue's area of responsibility. Therefore, in order to see all of the hydrants, you would have to go step by step, hitting the next button, which would show 120 hydrants at a time, which is unrealistic for what we're doing. So the workaround for this is we have set up some filters to allow you to see just the hydrants that are currently assigned to you and your truck. In order to activate those filters, come over here to the search bar, click on the filter icon, and we're going to select your station and or truck, as well as your shift. Now, we are not utilizing the stations drop down because a lot of our trucks are going to be going out of their station's primary zone to do their inspections. Therefore, we're going to be utilizing the inspection district. If you open up the stations section and you click on station 23 and hit OK, you will notice that it returns no hydrants whatsoever. If you ever get no hydrants found, you've done something wrong. So reset your filters, and we're going to do this by inspection district. So fill out the drop down for the inspection district. You can see every station is listed here. For station 23, we have a selection for each one of the trucks. We're going to utilize Quint 23 C shift as our demo for today. So we're going to click on Quint 23, hit close. Now we want to identify what shift we're on. There is no shift filter on here, so we've created options under tags. So we're going to go to the tag section, identify ourselves as C shift, hit close, and when you hit OK, this will zoom into Quint 23 C shift's hydrant area. All hydrants have been redistributed throughout the county to where now no truck will have more than 150 hydrants per shift. Historically, 23s, 80, some of the in-town trucks had as many as 250 hydrants per shift. So we have reallocated hydrants to where no more than 150 hydrants are assigned per truck per shift. I also did my best to try to split these up geographically so that you will not have to go for a shotgun approach and drive halfway across the county to get to your next hydrant. So all your hydrants should be grouped together relatively tightly. There's a few exceptions to that, but for the most part, all of your hydrants will be grouped together. As you see on the map right now, we have 120 hydrants currently showing on the map, 120 of 144. If you want to see the remaining 24 hydrants, you're going to click the next button, and it will zoom into the next remaining section of your hydrants. Obviously, these two maps overlap. This is not ideal, but it is better than not having any map whatsoever, so we're going to take that as a win. I will tell you that ESO has assured me that they are in the process of doing a major overhaul of the hydrant module that will turn this map into a dynamic map, kind of like Google, where you can zoom in, zoom out, and it will show you all of the hydrants within your zoom range. So some change is coming in the future. I just don't know exactly when that will be. They are telling me it should be the first quarter of 2024. So as you are driving down the road in your truck and you decide we're going to start doing hydrants today, you're going to drive down Newberry Road, you turn right here, and select the first hydrant that you're going to work on. So you can click on that hydrant, the hydrant will turn blue, and then you will see the actual hydrant demographics over here on the left. This is hydrant number 3987, and this is the physical address that it is currently at. If you find a hydrant that does not have a street address listed, please click the Edit Hydrant Info button and add a street address or intersection under the section that says Location Description. This is the only portion of this interface that you need to touch. It's very, very important that you do not change the hydrant ID, the tags, or the lat long coordinates. Please only put an address in the location description or a intersection, some type of description for you to know where that hydrant is in this box. Hit OK, and that will update the address in this section right here. All tasks are going to be scheduled by myself January 1st of each year, so you will never need to touch the schedule task button. That may end up going away eventually. I've asked them to turn that function off, but just ignore the schedule task button for now. As you'll see, all hydrants have two different tasks that are currently assigned to them. You will have your annual inspection. This is the simple touch and flow. We're flushing the hydrant, make sure that the hydrant's operating correctly, that we're getting proper water out of it. We're cleaning up around the hydrant, all that good stuff. This is every single year we're going to do our hydrant flushing. The other task that's assigned currently is our flow test. We are on year 5 of our 5-year flow test cycle. By the end of calendar year 24, every hydrant within the county should have a flow test recorded inside of ESO. This is our flow test where we're actually getting the static, pitot, and residual pressures and calculating the maximum flow. And we'll show you how to use that here in just a second. So let's go to this hydrant and let's conduct an inspection. We're going to click on the inspection button. We're going to change it from scheduled to completed. We're going to put in today's date. You can do that by clicking on these buttons here. We're going to choose the start time and end time for our inspection. You can put your name here in this box, and this will give you credit for actually doing the hydrant. You can only select one person. Then you're going to click Done. That has recorded, once you hit OK, that you have completed this inspection. During your inspection, if there is any repair that needs to be completed on this hydrant, you can click under the repairs section, click Add, and select what it is that's wrong with that hydrant. That can be maintenance items like a missing gasket or a leaking hydrant, or the stem's very tight, needs to be lubricated, whatever maintenance items needs to be done. You can also identify a hydrant as something that is unable to be located. There's a couple hydrants out there that are within our books. For some reason, we can't find them whatsoever. If you click Unable to Locate, it will eventually notify me that we have a hydrant that cannot be located, and we will either locate it and update the location and demographics on it, or we will remove that hydrant from our system. If you have a hydrant that has an obstruction on it that you cannot remove, for example, there's a fence or some improved plants or flowers or bushes around it, we are not the ones that are going to rip those out. That's going to be up to the water department. Just click on there that there's obstruction. We'll notify the water department and let them go out and mitigate it. We have a handful of hydrants that the GPS location on the map does not show its actual location. Sometimes it'll show that it's on the corner like this one, when in fact the hydrant is actually all the way down here down the road. If you find a hydrant that is in need of the GPS to be updated, you can click on that and it will notify me to send someone out and update those GPS coordinates. Once you've recorded any of the repairs that are needed, hit close. When you're done, click OK. That will record that this hydrant has been inspected for the year. All right, let's move on to our flow tests. If we're going to do a flow test on this hydrant, we'll click on the flow test task. Again, we're going to change that from scheduled to completed. We're going to put in today's date. You can either type that in or select it on the calendar. Choose the start and end times. You can put your name down so that you get credit for doing all this hard work. And then you're going to come down here to the flow test section. In the flow test section is where you're going to put your pressures. Get your static, residual, and pitot pressures like we normally do and enter them here. So this hydrant is going to be a 60 psi static, a 55 residual, and a 50 for our pitot. Our outlet diameter, we always use a 2.5-inch discharge for hydrant flow testing, so that's going to be 2.5. And our discharge coefficient for all hydrants within Alachua County is going to be 0.8. This coefficient refers to the corner where the discharge goes into the barrel of the hydrant. If it's a rounded corner by the book, it should be 0.9. If it's a 90-degree corner, it should be 0.8. And if the threads stick into the barrel of the hydrant, it should be 0.7. Since we have a combination of all three within the county, but the majority of our hydrants are the 0.9 variety, we have decided to use the middle ground and just use 0.8 as our coefficient for all hydrants countywide. So please just make sure you put 0.8 in the discharge coefficient. After you've put these 5 numbers in, hit calculate flow, and the computer will automatically calculate your GPM flows for you. This box right here shows the amount of water that is able to come out of that 2.5-inch discharge while you were testing. This box shows you the maximum theoretical discharge from that hydrant using all ports with a 20% residual left on the hydrant. This is what we color code our hydrants to. These two down here, we do not use within ACFR, so you can just ignore these two flows. So this is our flow out of one discharge. This is the maximum flow for the hydrant. You can yell out your window to your firefighter, paint this hydrant blue, get the bonnet of the hydrant color-coded appropriately, and you're done. Again, we have the same repair function in the flow test task as we did in the inspection, so you can put any repairs needed there. When you're done, hit OK, and it will record the inspection has been completed. From this view, we are still on hydrant 3987's individual map view. From this view, you can see the rest of the hydrants around it. So if you click on the next hydrant in sequence, it should take you to that hydrant and should show you 2 tasks right over here. We have found during the beta testing that if you continue to utilize this map to go from hydrant to hydrant, that eventually it will show up and say no tasks assigned. If you run into this situation here, this hydrant does have tasks assigned to it. For some reason, it's not showing up. Simply hit the back button up here and then return to the hydrant that you were trying to get to. When you click on it, it will eventually pop up and actually show the inspection and flow test tasks that are assigned to it, and you can continue going. All hydrants within the system have tasks assigned, so if it ever says no tasks, it's because of that quirk. One of my pet peeves about this program is it does not have the ability currently to show you all of your hydrants assigned to your station and your shift, but only show the ones that still have a task assigned to them, therefore filtering out the ones that are already completed. For the time being, in order to get that list, you have to change your view, go to list view over here on the left, and change from hydrants to tasks. When you click on tasks, it will require you to input your filters once again. So we're going to filter by inspection district, Quint 23, and tags, which is our shift, C shift. And then right up here where it says task status, we're going to change this to not completed. In order for a task to be incomplete, it has to actually be scheduled. So you must click on scheduled and not completed at the same time to run this report. Hit close and OK, and the system will return a list of all hydrants that have a task assigned to them that is not complete for your truck, your shift. This list shows all of the hydrants that are assigned to your truck, your shift, that are not completed but do have a task scheduled. If it has a clipboard with a check mark, this is a flush inspection. If you go to one of the next pages, you will see that will eventually change to a pressure gauge. This pressure gauge indicates that this is a flow test that is pending to be done on this hydrant. Unfortunately, this list of hydrants cannot be exported to a map. Therefore, the best practice is to utilize the hydrant map view to complete all of your hydrant tasks, and then use the list just to find out what you have missed along the way, because inevitably you're going to have one or two that get missed here and there. Again, this filter option is one of my highest priorities to get fixed. Since the filter already exists within ESO under the list view, the technicians are telling me they should be able to propagate that into the drop-down menu of the hydrant filter for the map view. So that may be changing very soon. And if that does occur, then you'll be able to add that into your filters and identify which hydrants still have a task assigned to them. So just a reminder, if you're in the main map view with your filter for your station and your shift, that you may have more than one pages. So this is hydrants 1 through 120 of 144 hydrants. So don't forget that you may have to hit the next button to see the remaining hydrants. And unfortunately, they do overlap with the previous page. So it's very possible that you could miss a hydrant just driving around, following what's on this map. So if you come upon a hydrant and it's not on map page 1, flip to map page 2, it should be there. I have had all of the trucks on the west side on C shift put in all of the previous 4 years worth of flow tests into this new system. Therefore, if we click on a hydrant on the west side, you will see that this hydrant already has a flow test completed on the system. This hydrant is done for the annual flow test. In fact, this hydrant also has an inspection for 2024 completed. So this hydrant is 100% complete for calendar year 2024. For any of the other stations that have not yet put your data into the system, I will be reaching out to your C shift lieutenants and asking them to coordinate, making sure that all of the previous flow tests for the last 4 years have been put into this system within the next 2 or 3 shifts. And then I'm going to come around and pick up all of the old hydrant books so that we can file them away. It's very important that y'all do not destroy or throw away the hydrant books. These still contain data that are not captured anywhere else. And this is data that's required by ISO for us to prove that we've been completing our flow test and inspections as required. So please do not get rid of them. I will be picking them up in the next week or 2 once we get all of the flow test records input. I am not asking you to go through and input all of your previous inspections. That's just way too much work. If they want to see the records of that, we'll pull out the hydrant books and show it to them that way. But I do ask that all of your flow tests since 2020 through today are put into this new system so that we're compliant with our 5-year inspection requirements. Our future goals for this system are to have it where it automatically sends an email for all hydrant repair requests. That email will come to me, and then I will triage it and figure out who it needs to go to, which water department it needs to be forwarded onto. That system is not yet active. Therefore, until further notice, I'm asking that if you have a hydrant repair need, that you also submit a hydrant repair form via email, just like we always have. When we get the new system up and running, I will let you know, and we will cease utilizing the old form. To give you all a little bit of a cheat sheet, little quick reference sheet, I have created this form that I'll be sending out to everyone. You can print this off and put this in your trucks, and it will walk you through step by step how to utilize the hydrant module. It will also show you what the difference is between the annual inspection and the 5-year flow test, and specifically what to input into the inspections. There are a couple pitfalls that are outlined here to help you identify if you run into a problem, what to do. As always, if you're unable to figure this out, you can feel free to give me a call and I will help you through that system. I will be giving all lieutenants and driver operators the administrative rights to get into the hydrant module. If you have anyone else in your station that you would like to have access granted to, I don't have a problem with turning this on for rescue lieutenants or even firefighters once they are properly trained on how to use the system. but blanket authorization will not be given across the board for all employees for the hydrant module. But if you want somebody added, please send me an email and I'm happy to make sure they're trained, then turn that on for everyone.